You are streaming CBS Sports HQ, sponsored by Body Armor. City of Tampa getting ready to host its fifth Super Bowl, the third time at Raymond James Stadium. Last time was Super Bowl 43 back in 2009, where the Pittsburgh Steelers took care of the Arizona Cardinals. And joining us now at CBS Sports HQ with Tommy Tran, Brian McFadden, and Pete Prisco is the one and only Super Bowl 22 MVP, Doug Williams. Doug, certainly appreciate the time for joining us, and it's very timely because the congratulations are in order. First off, what more can you tell us about your elevated position, senior advisor to team president for the Washington football team?
For a guy that's been around as long as I have and in his organization and being a part of it, it's certainly an opportunity that I look forward to working with Jason, the new president. I think what has happened around here from a diversity standpoint, and you get a chance to work with so many people with his team that he's put together. And the alumni, that's the good part about it, because we have so many alumni around here. This gives me an opportunity to have a voice talking to those guys and find out what it's like having played here and what they look forward to as far as the team is concerned and being a part of it. But just being in this organization at this particular time, man, and seeing what Jason has put together and you look around the league, you realize from a diversity standpoint, he has done a tremendous job and hopefully we can continue going forward and being successful. I think that's the most important thing.
Hey, Doug, when you won the Super Bowl, you were the first African American quarterback to win the Super Bowl. At one point, you were the only African American quarterback starting in the National Football League. Now you look around, and there are a bunch of guys, including Patrick Mahomes and this guy in this game, who are doing so many things playing the position. How much pride do you take in that?
A lot of pride. The 20th season, football season, man, got off to a bang as far as I'm concerned. The Thursday night game featured Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, two of the most highest paid athletes, and they both were black quarterbacks. And then that same week, it was 10 starting quarterbacks in the National Football League and at the beginning of the season. In the next week, 8 of those guys played against each other, something that is unheard of. In 1979, Vince Evans and myself, Vince was in Chicago, we played against each other, but it was only 2 of us. So you look around now, that was at least about 14 black quarterbacks in the league, and at least 9 or 8 of them are starters today. So I think we've come a long ways. We still got a ways to go, but we on our way.
Doug, the next big scheduled event throughout the National Football League is the draft. In the last few years, you guys have targeted the defensive side in the draft, but what do you foresee in the near future when it comes to targeting the draft, the type of players you would draft, and what side you guys might hit on, offensive side or the defensive side?
I wish I knew that, being in my new position, don't afford me those opportunities, those meetings anymore. So, but if you look at this football team, I think we've always been a football team, and I'm sure it's going to continue up under Coach Rivera as it's the best football player, number one. I mean, it's easy to say what you need, but if what you need is not the best that's on the board at that particular time, you can't afford to just go with need. You got to go with what's going to help you have a better football team in the future. So there's a lot of places that we can go, and I'm sure the closer we get, a lot of people would know which direction we're going. But at this particular time, it's too early to tell. With the new general manager and Marty Herney in place, I'm sure they're having a lot of meetings at this particular time.
Doug, in the Super Bowl when you won MVP, you actually went from a backup quarterback that season to being a Super Bowl MVP and having an unreal game in terms of numbers, particularly for that time. Did you have any idea at all when you took the field that day that you would have that type of game?
Well, let me say this. I came in here as a backup quarterback on the chart, on the depth chart, but not mentally. I've always looked at myself as a starter because that's all I ever been. So as a player, you can't go in with the fact of saying, are you the backup quarterback? Because if you get the opportunity to go in, you might not be ready to play. So I was always ready to play. I came off the bench about 3 times that year and brought the team back to victory. The last time was the day after Christmas up in Minnesota. And I came off the bench and we won. And Coach Gill's post-press conference, he's the one who announced that I was going to be the starting quarterback. And the rest of it, is history.
Doug, what's the most memorable moment you take away from your Super Bowl win against the Denver Broncos? I mean, you guys just ran away with that ball game, and you had a lot of big time plays. The same can be said for the defense as well. But what was the most memorable thing from that ball game?
You look at it realistically, I think the most memorable part of that football game is the time when I got up off the turf. Coach Robinson at Grambling has always told us when you get knocked down, you got to get up. And when I was able to get up after I had hyperextended my knee and go to the sideline, and beginning of the second quarter, when Coach Gibbs came back and asked me was I ready to go, and I told him yes. So I think getting up off the turf was the most important thing, and finding a way to finish the game.
Doug, what has to be done to get more African Americans in front office and head coaching positions? What does the league need to do?
Oh, I think that's an absolute wonderful question. And I think at the end of the day, and that's why my position today, where I am now, I see what Jason has done, what Mr. Snyder and his wife Tanya has done is given the green light to make this organization more diverse. I think the bottom line, let's look at it realistically. It's not so much of what the Rooney Rule does, no matter how many articles you write, no matter what you say from a social justice standpoint. The bottom line is somewhere along these lines, these owners got to find it in their heart to trust their football team to these guys that are duly capable of leading the football team. I think that's the point that we're missing. They don't give them an opportunity. And all guys like Leslie Frazier and Eric Bieniemy and Todd Bowles and Byron Leftwich, all they want is an opportunity like everybody else gets. It's a matter of them giving those guys an opportunity.
And speaking of, opportunities, you had Dwayne Haskins there, a minority quarterback. Things didn't work out as planned, but what was your views in that situation with Dwayne Haskins, and what do you see happening going forward at the quarterback position for the Washington Football Club?
Well, I was a little disappointed things did not work out with Dwayne, and I still kind of contact Dwayne. But the most important thing, he's going to get a second opportunity, and I think it's going to be left up to him. The young man is talented, but the most important thing, what's his upside? His upside is going to be left up to him where he want to be, and I think Mike Tomlin giving him that opportunity is up to him to take advantage of it. And we look at after he was benched or what have you. We was proud to have had Ellis Smith, who deserved more than a Purple Heart, deserved more than a Ed Courage Block Award, because what he did, what he put his family through, what he put his body through, and to come back to will his team to a playoff situation. I mean, he didn't play down the stretch, but he certainly was the reason why we was able to compete for the playoff.
Doug, watching Ron Rivera go through the season he went through and dealing with cancer and being in that building and being around that, how tough was that to watch, and how much when you admire him for going through what he did?
I think it was very, very tough. Mentally, I'm sure on him and his family. You dealing with cancer is nothing to talk about, but the fact that he got up every day and came to work, I think spoke volume to the team. When you look at it from that standpoint, because these young guys knew what he was going through, but the fact that he came to work every day kind of gave them the motivation and the confidence to go out to play, not only for themselves, but for this organization and for Coach Rivera.
Doug, when we talk about this Super Bowl, Tampa is getting ready to host its fifth all-time, third at Raymond James Stadium, and you started your career with this franchise. Who do you like in Sunday's game and why?
Well, it's hard not to like both teams, to be honest with you. And I got a little skin on both sides of it. Eric Bieniemy and I are friends, and I definitely love Patrick Mahomes. And if you go on the other side, Todd Bowles. I gave Todd Bowles his first coaching opportunity at Morehouse College back in 1997, and he's just like a little brother to me. And Byron Leftwich and I are real close. And the other part of this thing is what Coach Bruce Arian has done with his staff. When you talk about his top four lieutenants, all three of his coordinators and assistant head coach just so happen to be black. And I think you got to take your hat off to how he looked at it and what he's done. And for them to be playing the Super Bowl kind of speak volume to what we talked about earlier, that it's about giving them opportunity.
Some great storylines that we have in front of us on Super Bowl Sunday. Doug, again, certainly appreciate the time. Thank you for joining us here on CBS Sports HQ. And once again, congratulations on your new role.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.